The property that is now Chess Park was owned by Adam Wickerham in 1792. After Adam's death in 1828, 149 acres were then inherited by his daughter Mary Wickerham Chess, stretching between present-day 3rd and 11th Streets, and from the Monongahela River up the hill to 4th Street, then known as the Washington and Williamsport Turnpike. Mary Wickerham and her husband, Andrew B. Chess, a farmer and trader, decided to build a 2-story brick house facing town. The house was erected in 1834 and was located in nearly the center of what is now the park. In its time, it was one of the mansion homes, with its 2-story porch facing the rising sun and Palladian windows on one end. Most of the houses erected then were of the hewn pattern framework and put together with wooden pins. A.B. Chess built an old frame tavern formerly on the riverbank known as Chess's Tavern. He was the first in town to release the custom of ground rents, making a radical reform to the custom of former landowners Parkinson and Wickerham. In 1832, Andrew Chess, along with Samuel Black and James Mills, allowed the Williamsport Bridge Company to erect the old covered bridge near property they owned. In 1836, during the war with Mexico over the independence of Texas, Andrew left to join forces with General Sam Houston and was never heard from again. Mary Wickerham Chess died of pulmonary consumption in 1855. The property then passed to their daughter, Mary Chess Miller. She was only 24 years old when her mother died, leaving her a substantial amount of land. She was a graduate of the Washington Female Seminary in Washington, PA. She traveled to the state of Indiana to visit relatives, where she met her future husband, John Franklin Miller, who was practicing law there at the time. John was a member of the Indiana State Senate in 1860, but resigned to enter the Union Army in 1861. After serving on the governor's staff as colonel, John was in command of the 29th Regiment of Indiana Volunteers. For his gallantry in action, he was promoted to Brigadier General of Volunteers. He commanded a division of 8,000 men at the Battle of Nashville, and was promoted to Major General of Volunteers in 1865. After the war, he engaged in business and was an originator and subsequent president of the Alaska Commercial Fur Company, in which he amassed a large fortune. The firm is credited with opening up the Alaska Territory to settlers into various commercial enterprises immediately following the U.S. purchase of the territory from Russia. John Miller was the Republican presidential elector, member of the California Constitutional Convention 1878 to 1879, and was elected to the U.S. Senate as a Republican in 1881, serving until his death in 1886. In 1866, Mary Chess Miller and her husband confirmed the sale of 9 acres of her land in Monongahela City that specifically described the graveyard near the middle of this 9-acre tract and called it the Wickerham Chess Burial Ground. This deed reserved this 10,000 square foot graveyard and provided that the same burial rights in that graveyard had been conveyed to the colored people by a deed of trust made on November 21, 1855. References in this and several subsequent deeds also referred to adjacent property owned and occupied by the Bethel AME Church. In 1903, the Friday Afternoon Conversational Club, a woman's club for literary study and social delights, leased the Chess House as their clubhouse. At the end of their first meeting there, they planted an elm tree midway between the house and the McCurdy home and named it the Mary Chess Elm. This club eventually went on to become the Monongahela Area Historical Society. Mary Chess Miller's granddaughters, Mary Eudora Clover and Beatrice Clover, sold the property to the city in 1922. Due to the efforts of the community, the house was demolished in 1923 and a public park was then created, including a fountain at the center and the present-day crossing sidewalks. The World War I memorial, titled Winged Victory, once stood to the right of the entrance of the old City Hall. It was later moved to its present site, where it was taken over as the City Park. The cannons were used in the Civil War and afterwards donated to the city. There are also other monuments to fallen soldiers from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. The gazebo in Chess Park replaced the aging fountain and is one of the main focal points in the city of Monongahela. It was designed by Robert Lettrick and built by Joseph Dubrovich Jr., being completed in 1980. The gazebo is unusual in many ways, including a 2-tiered roof. The gazebo was actually built on site instead of prefabricating the structure. In 1969, when the city of Monongahela celebrated its 200th anniversary, A time capsule was filled with items donated by city residents. The capsule was then closed, sealed, and buried underneath the lawn in the park and will be opened in 2019. Chess Park remains the heart of our community, a central location for festivals, concerts, and memorable weddings performed in the gazebo.